Ephesians chapter 6. If you have it, say, I have it. All right, I want us to read together, beginning at verse 10. We'll read through verse 17, which serves as the foundation for our present lesson. If you're ready, let's begin. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day. And having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one. And take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Now, our subject is the battle of the mind, our thought life, and our armor. Paul is attempting to get across to us the fact that we have armor, and he wants to single into, or zero in I should say, on this armor, so he uses the Roman soldier as an illustration. But as I pointed out, traditionally we get sight down, if you would, on the different pieces of armor, and we separate them out, and we make a big issue out of this particular piece or that particular piece to the neglect of the other parts as though they weren't important. So I gave you an alternate rendering that I think expresses the principle that Paul is trying to get across, and that is that we have armor, that we do have protection. So we drop the Roman soldier symbolisms and just read it like this, beginning with verse 13. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God. The whole armor is an alert. It's an alert that if we're not careful, we could zero in on parts of the armor to the neglect of the rest of the armor, and therein find our demise or defeat. So he says, whole. Even though he presents it in parts, it's the whole that gives us the victory. So it read like this, verse 13. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having truth, having righteousness, having the gospel of peace, taking faith and salvation and the word of God. So what he's really telling us is that the armor is simply Bible knowledge, the knowledge of the word of God. And he tells us to take that. That's our armor, because we are in a battle. But then in verse 16, he says, above all. This is the question that Freddie asked me. He said, Dad, why did he say above all? You know, which implies that maybe this is more important, or could be more important than the others. Above all. But watch this. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one. Verse 17, and take the helmet of salvation. Why? And the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. But none of those other things that he mentioned tells us why. Now, all of these other pieces, helmet, sword, all that, there are other keys. But the master key is the key of faith, because it makes all the doors of life open up for us. So that's why he says, above all, take the master key. And I've been telling you that for years, that is the key that unlocks the treasure trove of God. That is the master button you press to make everything else work. That's why he says above all, if you take the shield of faith, you'll be able to handle the stuff that comes against the helmet of salvation. It'll handle the things that comes against the breastplate of righteousness. We'll handle the things that come against the gospel of peace. So that's why I believe that it says above all, taking the shield of faith. Okay, remember, we're in a fight. We're in a war. And knowledge and its proper use wins battles. Not knowledge wins battles, but knowledge and its. Now, it's interesting the term proper because things can be improper. Things can be misused, misconstrued, misapplied, and you will not get the exact results that are intended. Thoughts, ideas, suggestions. Again, those are the fiery darts, the evil day, and the wiles of the devil. They are merely suggestions, ideas, thoughts, and suggestions. Look at that tree. Doesn't it look good? Oh, and God knows the day you eat that tree, you'll be like Him, knowing good and evil. That was a thought, a suggestion, a dart. She fell for it and lost the battle as a result of it. She didn't maintain her thought life. She had information that would have impacted on her thought life. That information was the Word of God that said, in the day you eat, you will die. And here comes the devil and says you won't die. She didn't maintain her thought life, and she went under. Jesus maintained his thought life. He kept the Word of God that he had in him and used it against the thoughts, the ideas, and suggestions that came from the devil. And he said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone. And he stood the test and overcame the enemy. Preaching is inspirational, but teaching is informational. And you need knowledge or information, because knowledge and information and its proper use wins battles. Emotions will not win any battles. In fact, they'll keep you in bondage if you govern your life by them, because they'll have you strung out. You talk about drugs. The worst drug in the world is the drug of emotion, in reference to the things of God, where you just allow the emotions. I maintain my thought life. I use my armor, and I do not play to the thoughts, ideas, and suggestions that the devil brings. And he brings them to me just like he brings them to you. Listen, if you don't listen and take advantage of it, you deserve every knot the devil can put on your hard brick head, and every footprint he can put into the backside of your posterior portion of your anatomy. I think I said that nicely. You know, I could have said something else, a little shorter words, but I think that ought to convey the idea. You deserve every knot you get, every brick that falls on you. You deserve it because you're getting information. You know exactly the wiles of the devil, the fiery darts in the evil day. They are thoughts, ideas, and suggestions. And if you'll take this word and submit every thought, every idea, and every suggestion to the Word of God, you will never be deceived by that trickster, the devil. Never, never, never.